Today in January 2026, my CDP account has crossed $1 million. Nothing inherited or self-built. This portfolio is going to produce me around $40,000 of passive income via dividends. So today I'm going to share with you details of it openly. And more important, you also learn the real reason why most people don't build serious wealth. Good investing, everybody can learn, correct? But the weird part is not everybody practice the right things. Many of them trade too often. Sell Tesla, then buy Apple. Sell Apple, then buy Nvidia. Always chasing the new bright thing. Too many of them also sell during panic crashes. You see a YouTube video, worst crash since 2029 coming. Or Donald Trump, he's going crazy and he's not going to stop until we see the worst recession ever. So on and so forth, doomsday news. So they panic. Or the other thing is they freeze. They freeze when markets come down. Instead of seeing it as opportunity when news headlines show Nasdaq drops 2,000 points. Or headlines, economists are now seeing 90% chance of recession and recovery only next year. So on and so forth. They freeze. And the reason is because buying at these points are very counterintuitive. Your brain just wants to protect you from more losses, correct? So how to succeed in investing? Today I'm going to share with you the number one principle that if you follow consistently, you also quietly compound your wealth. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'll be sharing with you the number one principle, and I'll actually have a sequel to this video that deep dives into my holdings and the evolution of my portfolio. So if you're keen for that episode coming up, smash the subscribe so that you get notified. Now today, my CDP is $1 million. But take a guess, what was it like just 2 years ago, January 2024? Was it 700,000, 800,000, somewhere near enough to get to $1 million? Actually, the answer is no. It was only $457,000. Wow, so how did it jump, double in 2 years to get to $1 million? That's actually where today's key principle actually applies. And that is, you need to actively monitor your stocks, but keep your turnover low. But before that, let's clear the biggest misconception, which is long-term investing actually does not mean buy and then forget. Warren Buffett is a long-term investor, but he has also sold on his positions before. He's also added on things. So it's never the buy and then forget. Because if you think about it, when you own shares or stocks, you actually own a company, correct? And the company, it runs a business. So you actually need to firstly review earnings. How did the latest numbers grow? And did they even grow or not in the first place? What exactly is the profit trend telling you? So for example, if you see an airline like SIA, SIA's profits have grown over the last few years, correct? What are the key drivers of its growth? And is this key driver sustainable? Then on the other hand, what are the costs saying? For example, interest costs for a REIT. Is it going up? Is it going down? Because when the interest cost moves, the profits will move and the dividend payout will be changed. So in many ways, as an investor, it's your job to track the fundamentals. If it's getting better, you buy. Of course, depending on price also. And if it's going worse, you might need to consider selling. So if you look at my CDP account just 2 years ago, who do you see as number 2 biggest holding? Genting Singapore, correct? And the reason I built such a big stake is because incorrectly, I estimated that Chinese tourists will be back in big flows after the COVID period. But problem is, they didn't. My assumption was wrong and Mr. Market punished the share price of it. So when my assumptions are wrong and the business is not doing well, me as a shareholder, I can choose to redeploy that capital. So it's always not the buy and forget. That's actually just praying. And if you think about it, over long term, that usually does not work very well. Next, you need to understand industry changes. How is competition doing? What are consumers moving towards next? Now to illustrate this point, I have this story on creative technology. So if you're of the same age as me, you may have seen their products. If you're older, you definitely have. Or if you're younger, this is a cautionary tale. You know, long ago, creative technology was one of Singapore's most famous firms. It had MP3 players, something that's obsolete right now. It also had sound blasters, something that is also obsolete right now. Creative Technologies was founded by late Mr. Sim, and it was once Singapore's most expensive stock at around $60. Crazy, correct? Not DBS. Creative Technologies during the dot-com bubble. Then what happened next? No need further to explain. You don't even see sound blasters. You don't even see MP3 players right now. Back then, those were leading standards. But fast forward with competition, Creative Technologies' profits turned to losses. The share price, you can guess, it of course tumbled for the next 20 years ahead. So for someone who buy and forgot, this is a big warning sign. On the other hand, if the industry is doing very well, there is tailwinds for it. Profits will climb, correct? And think again, the market is not stupid. We cannot assume that. That's why also when profits are jumping, you see the share price usually at all-time high. This might surprise you, but these could be times to buy. Don't be scared, because the underlying business is growing, the value of the company is going up. Market is discovering what is the right price for it, and very likely it could be way bigger than today. If you see what's in my CDP, you see that I've doubled my Bowsteed stake. Right now, this has brought big profits. You see that I've tripled my Fraser Centerboy Trust stake. You see that I've poured 100,000 new into iFast. You see that I poured 100,000 new into Propnex. I've poured also 30,000 into Sheng Siong. Buy. Don't be scared. Don't have the anchoring bias that, share price is all-time high, it cannot climb higher. Take note again, there is no limit for a share price. If profit 10x, the share price can 10x. It is very hard to understand, very hard to comprehend, but that's the truth of successful investing. And if you'd like to learn more, come join us at my upcoming Georgetown Investment Summit 2026. It's happening very soon in February. We have actually less than 20 seats as of right now. The Saturday event is sold out already and only have the Sunday event left for you. In that, I'll be answering your questions on investing. I'll be showing you what to look forward for 2026. And last but not least, you can also hear ideas from fellow attendees. So grab your tickets today. The links are just below, and I'll see you at SMU. Now back to the point of active monitoring. That is one part, settled. But what you must not get wrong is to confuse monitoring with excessive trading. There are many that actually panic sell whenever they see an analyst downgrade and stock price moves, or when they see that there's some war breaking out in Israel, or they see headlines that, oil price is going where and where because Venezuela has happened something, so on and so forth. We must not do that. And the next time you have certain anxiety about news headlines, the simple solution I do also, breathe a bit, look big picture, think optimistic, think how to not worry about it too much. Are there seasoned investors that you can take advice, and usually it might sound, accept this pain, accept this volatility, and actually things will work out after a period of time. Just be patient, correct? And that's not all the worst in excessive trading. What about the other side, which is repeated profit taking? That's also a problem you must avoid. If what you own gain 10% and you sell, or $500 profits you sell, take profit. Does that actually build you big wealth? Does that actually change your financial freedom equation? Does that even sound like compounding or not? You know, we hear so many times of compounding is the eighth wonder. But at every juncture, if we shortcut it, that will never happen, correct? So what you actually need is this. Do you see it over here? 59k gains, 32k gains, 119k gains. You need to compound and stay patient and be comfortable owning what you own for a long term. Studies have consistently showed that the more frequent investors trade, the worse their long-term performance. And why so? Quite a few simple reasons that you must avoid. The first is that they sell their winners too early. And what happens after that? They re-enter at a much higher price because of regret. The second, they chase something new, something shiny, something that's moving, and they're not patient enough. And after they succumb to their FOMO, they have this buyer's remorse. They also swing emotionally up and down. They are very convinced that investing is just gambling, which is not true. So actually, if you don't make these mistakes, and you actually look for the right balance, which is active thinking and inactive trading, Active thinking because you don't want to buy on impulse, you don't buy on hot tips. Inactive trading because you don't want market timing. There's a saying, Hall of Fame for market timers is an empty room. You don't chase something new all the time. That doesn't work. So again, it's active monitoring, but inactive trading. Hopefully you found today's key message useful and adopt it as you grow your finances for your own families. Leave your questions in the comment sections. Look for links below to join our Finance Summit coming in February. I'll see you there and I'll sign off from here. Take care as always. Goodbye.